and shine, wild ones. It's Bernadette. Woo! I'm so excited to bring you this reading today. Yes, I am. And before I even start, I've got to thank you so much. You don't know it yet. You're going to find out today. But you guys, as the pack, as the wild pack, you've made a major shift in how spirit, totem, and power animal messages are delivered, where they're coming from. I mean, they come from the animals, but like which animals they're coming from. And you did it, meaning you guys set yourself free. And so you set me free, and you set the whole, let me just explain. Okay. I'm just like, okay. So I pulled a card this morning, right? And I pulled the Black Swan, which is the Nine of Swords. It's you know, the Nine of Swords is what it is, right? Okay. It's not always the greatest news, but it doesn't have to be traumatic, right? Remember, that which is dramatic doesn't have to be traumatic. Okay. So as I sat in meditation, all I could see in front of me were white swans. And I'm like, y'all, this is the Black Swan and the Nine of Swords. How do you want, what are the messages specifically today, right? Okay. So they showed me white swan, and then they said, listen, you're the only one that thinks you have to stick to the animals in your decks because that's what everybody knows. But you're the spirit animal lady. So you just ask us, and you said you wanted new messages, you wanted them expanded, you wanted, if we thought that it was relevant to raising the consciousness, raising the awareness of animals, it will help people do better for animals, do more for animals, do good for animals. Then, we're like, and besides, we've been waiting for forever for somebody to do this, rather than just sticking to the traditional, meanings that have been handed down, to always keep those traditions for sure. And then we'll bring you expanded and revised, like they're writing a book, right? Okay. So as I sat, I was like, oh, okay, I get that. I'm like, just humor me. Could you just expand on that a little bit? And they're like, okay, look, let's say that you pull dog, right? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, we may send you a golden retriever. We may send you a chihuahua. We may send you, a bull mastiff. We may send you a Pomeranian, with that, we'll go with that. And so through each species, it might be the animal that's in the deck, but it could be brought to me that it's a different version of that animal, like a different breed or, that kind of thing. Again, you did it, you guys. All of your focus and your attention and your kindness and just willingness to take these messages and integrate them into your life and be in a deeper relationship with the animals. I don't even know the words to thank you. So let me get into the reading. Okay. So with White Swan, okay, well, actually the first part of that the first part of the reading is going to be germane to Swan because it's about big changes, right? And so if there's something that you've been wanting to change or expand, I just keep hearing the word expand. Now is the time to consider doing it. Remember, y'all, I'm Bernadette. I'm here with your Pick a Card tarot reading for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021. Okay, there's the official intro. So, if there's something that you're looking to expand, remember today is the Sacral Chakra Day, right? So you've got this crazy, fiery orange energy under you. And now comes the complete transformative, transmutation energy of the White Swan. So I was like, okay, well, what do you want them to know about White Swan? And they were like, here are the two biggest things they have to know. Number one, white swans are very heavily associated and have been for many, many years with psychic energy. And so if you're looking to expand your psychic energies or abilities, or your mediumship abilities, your intuitive tarot abilities, runes, whatever it is you use, pendulums, at all, this is a great time to double down, not just focus on it, but double down and explore that and realize that when you are exploring that, the only person or energy that would be keeping you from expanding that is you, right? Okay, remember, I'm your spiritual crash test dummy. I've been sticking to the animals in the ark. Okay, so the other thing is, I was called to tell you guys a story, and this is the biggest component of all. You know, me and my stories, right? Okay. So I did a reading for a gal a few years ago, and she wanted to talk about her spirit totem and power animals, and I just kept seeing a white swan. And here's what she said. She was so excited for me to tell her what she thought her spirit animal was, and it is because it's personal to her. It came to her, but she was very invested in having me be able to tell her the animal that she's attached to. Most of the time I can do that. Not me. It's just the animal allies tell me. It's not hard, you guys. They just show up. They pop in your mind, or you might. There are a million ways to sense something psychically, right? Especially empaths, but I'll get into that in another video. Every living thing is an empath. Let me just say that. Okay. So she was so invested. Oh, I felt so bad. She wanted me to tell her the animal. And when I didn't tell her the animal that she wanted, she just deflated. I was like, oh my God, she's going to melt all over her desk. So she's just going to slide off like they do in the cartoons, right? Okay. So I said, white swan. She said, I don't resonate with that at all. I even got a little bit of a head bob with an attitude. Okay. So I was like, okay, calm down. Let me tell you how it works for me. How it works for me is if I deliver a message and the person receiving the message just either like flat out negates it, nope, that's not for me, or no, that doesn't really resonate. Well, I could kind of make it fit here. None of those are acceptable, right? Like it's gotta be accurate. It's gotta be evidential, like really evidential just for them. So I said, when it really is not for the person that I'm doing a reading for, and sometimes that happens. I get air traffic control stuff all the time. I did a reading, I think I told you guys about it, maybe. I'm pretty sure, about reading a gal, and I asked this gal at the end of one reading, I said, listen, real quickly before we go, do you have a thing for red cardinals? And she's like, nope. And I was like, yep. The vision went right away, because that was Spirit's way of saying, no, it's not for them. The next person that I get on the horn with doing a reading, I'm like, by any chance do you have a thing about red cardinals? She was like, well, I'm wearing a shirt that's got red cardinals all over it. I'm like, aha, okay, I was already stepping into your energy. All right. So not only did the swan not go away, the white swan, not only did it not go away, right? Okay. It got bigger and more aggressive. And I was like, listen, I've been around swans quite a bit. Please don't make this swan grow anymore or get more aggressive. And I said, could you just take a deep breath and just think? Just let the words white swan go through your mind. And earlier in the reading, we'd been talking about some really deeply personal things having to do with self-love, self-value, self-worth, so on and so forth. So she goes, she like did the eye roll. So she goes, I felt bad. And I'm like yakking back to this swan in my mind. I'm like, and the swan is just looking at me like, I gave you both the information that you needed. And then did the little tail feather wag, right? I'm like, oh Lord, if I get the tail feather wag, we're both in the soup. So, and by the way, I've gotten a couple of emails asking me if I really truly do have visions. Yes, I do. And the way that I can, and I'm not the only one. I mean, many a psychic and medium and whatever word or words or phrases you identify with or they identify with. But if you guys have ever seen the movie Beatrix Potter, where her little bunnies and the other critters in the garden come to life and they talk to her, that's exactly how it happens, except for they're not cartoons. They're real animals, like real animals. Okay. Not that hers aren't, but you get, it's not a drawn bunny, it's a real bunny or a duck or whatever. Okay. So she says, well, the only thing I can think of is from the time I can remember understanding what words were till this day, and she was in her late 30s, mid 30s, late 30s. My family calls me the ugly duckling, and I'm like, that's the message. You got to be kidding me. That's the message. it's so important that you understand that from this reading henceforth, for as long as you both shall live, you and White Swan are like this, because you're the White Swan now. If first of all, you never were an ugly duckling. Let me just say that. I'm not busting on your family, but listen, that's beyond the pale if you ask me, which you did because you got a reading from me. And I said, but secondly, if Spirit wanted me to go down that road with you, Spirit would have shown me a duckling in full molt or this or that. It wouldn't have shown me the White Swan. It's that you've got to understand you are transformed inside and outside. You always have been the White Swan. And then I went to deliver the rest of the message, and the rest of the message as regards transmutation, transformation, made complete and total sense to her. I was like, great, wonderful, thank you. So today, every one of you out there are White Swans. If you've been feeling ugly in any way, physically, maybe you had harsh words with somebody that were ugly. Maybe you've been doing negative self-talk that is ugly. Maybe, but here's the thing. The UGLY, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly. Okay, that's fun when it's a football chant or it's a cheerleading chant. It's not fun when it's in someone's life. It's not. Because that word ugly is so ingrained and indoctrinated into society. I know you know what I'm saying. That it's time to break those barriers. It's time to have the transformation. Understand that in this particular case, in this story of the ugly duckling, right? That duck wasn't ugly. And there isn't anything about an animal that's ever ugly, even if they've got mange or they've got, they're in full molt and look at Sphinx cats. They're kind of kooky. I love them. But they do kind of look like Dobby and Harry Potter. And, well, they look a lot like Dobby and Harry Potter, just the cutest things. But you see where I'm going with this. So if you're going through a transition of any kind, a transmutation of any kind, or you want to go through a transmutation, or, just like turn your life around, like we turn a card around, and you want to turn your life around, White Swan energy is the energy you should be working on, so that you can rewire your brain and understand it's not ugly, it's transformational. And those are two completely different things. And I know you can do it. Yes, I'm talking to you. So the other thing about White Swan is they're elegant. I mean, they are elegant until the male or the mama comes for you. And those things, I mean, they can be yay tall, y'all. And they're heavy birds. They are. And they're relentless. They are just relentless. So whatever you want to pursue, you're going to be, if you work with White Swan energy, okay, not only will you be able to make the transformation, but you're going to do it elegantly. It's going to be so smooth. And if anything or anybody tries to threaten your plan in any way or your transmutation in any way, turn around and honk at them. Honk! Right? Just turn around and honk at them. And they'll run away. I mean, I have seen grown men, 6'3" country boys, haul boogie when a White Swan comes after them, because again, they're like turkeys. They can be super aggressive. So I sincerely hope that was helpful. I hope you pick up a copy, your copy of the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. My Kickstarter is going to start on March 20th. I will get more information out on my channel before then and include a sign-up link where you guys can pre-sign up to know about the Kickstarter, when it starts, and so on and so forth, because I've got some crazy special prices that I'm going to offer during the Kickstarter, and a secret that I'm going to announce here in a week or two. Well, probably this week. So I love you guys. As you go through your transformation, it's just important that you do what? Stay open, do good for animals, and stay wild.